I was wrong about the Oakland Ballers, like really wrong. Regardless of the metric you wish to use to determine the club's success, the franchise has met, or most likely surpassed it. Obviously, the win-loss record and winning the Pioneer League title is what draws the most attention. Attendance, though, has increased year over year, which is fairly remarkable when you sit down to think about it. Usually, teams like this have a really strong first season at the gate, but the luster of having a new franchise then quickly wears off. The Ballers brought in a little over 2,300 folks per game during the regular season to the 4,100 seat Raimondi Park. The playoffs were even better. The team had several sellouts during the postseason and averaged, I think, a little over 3,000 people per game. However, the biggest success when it comes to this baseball team is the experience. The Oakland Ballers have made baseball fun again for this city. After years of being browbeaten by outsiders, telling them that Oakland doesn't support professional baseball, and it is the fans of Oakland who were the problem, it turns out if a team invests in the community, that community is willing to invest in the team. The Ballers didn't simply start playing baseball and selling tickets. They have done nearly everything imaginable to make this about the fans, about the community. You have things like theme nights, giving back to the community through various events, ultimately an understanding that this is a relationship between baseball team and fans, as opposed to some sort of transaction. Players, staff, politicians, and even some fans, they will all come and go, but it is the bond between team and community that must endure. The Oakland Ballers and the city of Oakland have become intertwined, forged together. That was my biggest concern about the entire ordeal. When the Ballers were first launched, there was a lot of talk about being a community-driven club, but those leading the team seem to have their focus in 1,000,001 different places. They were trying to sell investors on all kinds of other stuff. Famously, there was that proposed TV series. Thankfully, all of the other stuff, all of the noise would fall by the wayside when the team started playing games. And then the Oakland Ballers became about two very important things: baseball and people. This is not about team valuations, lease agreements, lockouts, private-public partnerships, luxury seating, or all of the other things out-of-touch billionaires try to make cities feel bad for when they don't want to divert money away from their schools, from their infrastructure needs, to a facility that won't provide benefits to the average Joe or Jane. This is sports we're talking about, so it's obviously always going to come down to root for the home team. But this is also about the home team making sure it is a pillar of pride for the community and can support that community it does play in. Something people can point to and say, that is our team from our town. They represent us. And if there is one thing you can undoubtedly say about the Oakland Ballers, it's that they represent the city of Oakland. The Oakland Ballers will never replace the Oakland Athletics. The team is still a relatively minor entity in the town. There are a lot of people in Oakland who have denounced all things baseball and they aren't coming back. And you have another group of people who just don't want to support minor league baseball. It doesn't interest them, and that is fair enough. You're not going to win everyone over. However, for those who still want to spend a summer evening in an amazing climate watching people who love the game while supporting a truly local team, the Ballers have given them a reason to care. You know, something is not always better than nothing, but when it comes to baseball in Oakland, I think you can argue the Ballers are a far stronger proposition than keeping the A's around for these lame duck seasons would have been. But I don't want to make this about that. This is about the success of the Ballers. They say seeing is believing, and when it comes to the Bees, we've seen it and we can believe it. They have delivered above and beyond what anyone could have expected. Let's not pretend the Pioneer League is some bastion of stability or a league in which new franchises go and have untold success. Northern Colorado was folded and then quickly rebranded so they could finish out the season. Modesto will come into the fold next season. But being successful in the Pioneer League, it takes a lot of hard work, and you need to truly be committed to your local community. And in that regard, the ownership of the Oakland Ballers, everyone involved with the franchise, has been a success. The commitment is unwavering. This isn't simply a baseball team or a form of entertainment. It feels like something more to those involved. From ownership in the tippy top, through the front office, to the playing group, to the fans, and everyone else in between I didn't mention. Sure, this isn't the majors, and 2,300 people turning out 48 times a year to watch the Pioneer League isn't going to move the needle. But what the Oakland Ballers have done extends well beyond that. It extends well beyond just some attendance numbers or even a wins and loss record. They've made baseball fun in a city where the soul of the sport had been surgically removed through greed and incompetence. That is far more important and a far more greater reward. At the end of the day, nobody knows where this thing is going, and having success in year 2 is probably going to be easier than having success in year 10, assuming they make it that far. We really don't know. But the foundation is there for this to be a long-term success story. At the very least, we know this isn't simply some rebound for the city of Oakland or some honeymoon phase that's going to eventually die out. What the Ballers have is real, and it does feel permanent. We don't know how it plays out long term, but this has a sense of permanence. The team's success is both real and organic. Even I, an ardent skeptic, can see that reality. And I wonder if some of us in Sacramento look over at the Pioneer League and the Oakland Ballers and don't have at least a little sense of envy, given how just sad and uninteresting and just greed-driven our entire experience with baseball in 2025 was. So to the Oakland Ballers, I was wrong. Not for the first time, certainly not for the last time, but what you have done is an amazing accomplishment, and I think we should celebrate what is happening with the Ballers. Here's hoping more sports teams across America do take the time to understand what makes this operation work. It's not that you can just clone it in other places, but I think that there is a lot professional sports teams can learn from what the Ballers are doing. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to know the story of what really happened in Oakland in the East Bay, check out the video in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Until next time, I am Cheyenne Hollis. This is The Touchback, and as always, hashtag take it out to the 25.